Yeah, welcome to the review nobody asked for an anime nobody asked for, but I'm kinda glad they did. So if I were to pick one platform to trust into taking an IP and doing something with it, a movie or a series, I can't see how you can't choose Netflix right now. I don't mean that they're perfect. I just think that they have the best average right now at pumping out half-ass decent stuff with the properties, and I think it's not even close. They have been there the longest also, so there's been more try and error, so that makes a whole lot of sense. They haven't all been bops, if you know what I mean. A lot of them that they put out have been dookie caca, but recently it feels like they've turned a corner. I feel like they're learning a little bit and just letting creators create for the most part. And their next endeavor was taking the legendary IP in Terminator and turning it into an anime. So in 2022, a future war has raged for decades between the few human survivors and an endless army of machines. In 1997, the AI known as SkyNet gained self-awareness and began its war against humanity. And to counteract that, not only did a soldier was sent back to stop that, but also a Terminator was there to take down this scientist. So we follow the scientist's story. So for a lot of the show, it's a lot of chasing after the scientist, or more specifically, the children of the scientist. And this time stopping the Terminator is this lady who's a complete badass, and you have this other lady that's protecting the children. So that eventually splits off into two different kind of side missions, I guess. Because a lot of the show, it's being chased, the pacing does get a bit slow at sometimes, because it can't all just be chase. There has to be some explanation as to why even the chase is happening, but then gory stuff happens. And just very cool, fun action occurs throughout the whole show. Of course, I don't think anybody's going to argue with me. The first two Terminators are legendary. After that, yes, it's a bit shoddy, fine. And if I were to rank them, I think that's where I would put the anime at number 3. It did a very good job, and I was super surprised, especially because of who it came from. Mattson Tomlin was the one who created, developed, and wrote the whole thing. And he was the writer behind Project Power, a movie for Netflix I really did not enjoy. I actually kind of hated that movie. So for him to turn around and do something that I did enjoy, I have to give props. Masashi Kudo, who's a legend in his own right, worked on the Bleach manga adaptation, and his experience is definitely shown in this anime. It's gorgeous. When it comes to anime, the first argument is always dub over sub. I started with the sub, but I wanted to check out the dub. And doing the dub, you have Rosario Dawson and Timothy OnlyFans. They provide the voices and actually did a good job. And I just stick with it because I didn't really felt like reading. And by listening to that statement alone, you could probably already tell I'm not an anime weeb. I do wish I'd seen more shows in my past. I enjoy the art form, and I feel like Terminator Zero has a very old school look and feel to it. Of course, not counting in the mixing of this CGI effects that they throw in sometimes, but just the way that it looks, it felt kind of 90s anime to me, which is obviously a good thing because it gets its own style. One little Netflix problem by putting out so many animes is that they start to kind of look pretty similar, and I don't feel like this does. I think this does enough to separate itself from the rest. It has very fluid animation. It doesn't stop moving. Some of the other animes, the one that comes to mind is Castlevania. As much as it's great, I love it, but that kind of art style is kind of static. A lot of the times it's the same animation that doesn't move, and you're panning the camera up towards the face, or nothing in the shot is moving except for lips, of course, outside of the action. But even the action, there's a lot of like pause and go, and in here I feel like the shot, everything is moving and it doesn't stop. Then when it comes to the action, it's very fluid animation, and they do a lot of different stuff visually that was pleasing to my eye. I did like a lot of visuals stuff that they did, and they threw in there with some of the CGI effects, of course. I don't know how that's felt about in the anime community, if that's a yay or a nay. Like, do we hate CGI in anime? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. I thought it looked good because it did cool shit, which is my motto, just do cool shit. And they did a lot of fun shots as well. It's very gory, which fans from the two movies are going to enjoy as well. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of fun kills, of course. The Terminator has a crossbow in his arm, and I thought that was really, really cool. The music is also really cool. I forget in what episode they used the Terminator dun 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 dun, but the way they used it felt modern and in that world, and it was never really overdone. They might have done it a couple times if I caught it correctly, but what they did with the music is similar to what they did with the anime as a whole. They took it, they made a version of it that doesn't disrespect the original piece at all. There is a twist that I did see like coming a mile away. The second I saw this character, I knew exactly what they were about. The twist was still interesting enough and plays a bigger part later on in the story. There is a lot about, do machines feel, and do you just treat them as machines? That kind of discussions we've had in movies and in shows before. Nothing new, but the way that they did it kept it interesting and fresh. They did overdo one move, which is the come in the last second and save somebody. I don't know if this was like a anime trope or something, but every time someone was gonna get got, someone else just shows up in the nick of time, and I feel like they overdid it. No lie, I think they did it probably 5 times throughout the whole series. It's just something that I noticed. But still, that leads into fun, fast-paced, dismembering action and putazos and just Terminator shit happening in the face and vergazos, and you already know. They also tapped into some, of course, multiverse shit, which, by the way, public service announcement to Hollywood. It's not even Hollywood anymore because you can make good shit anywhere. To entertainment. Come here. Could we like stop with the multiverse shit? Like, can we come up with something else? I think the multiverse phase is done, no? Like, ya chole, ya estuvo, a la verga. Like, can we come up with something different? This is not faulting Terminator 0 at all. It was just an element used in the show, but it's also an element used in every show and every movie now, and it's being used so much that it's dulling it. It doesn't have any meaning anymore. It's almost not fun anymore. It's kind of like, it feels like a cop out because it explains so much by also doing so little that you have no other choice but just accepting whatever bullshit they want to throw at you. Again, I'm not criticizing this show whatsoever. It makes sense here. It makes sense in a lot of them. But I'm just saying, can we move on from the multiverse shit? Can we be done with the multiverse shit, please? Ya estuvo. Enough. Well, I guess not. F me. I don't believe you can turn anything into an anime. Well, I guess if done right, you can. But certain IPs do lend themselves more to that art form. And Terminator is definitely one of those. Basically, a lot of the 80s shit. If you close your eyes, you could probably see a Rambo one. RoboCop should definitely be next. But not everything is. And I recently saw like most of the first episode of this Rick and Morty anime, and something about it for me did not hit. Maybe because that show shouldn't actually be an anime. I feel like for Rick and Morty, it works for like a specific episode if we're traveling universes and doing that. Speaking of multiverses, but for a whole show, I don't know. I saw 20 minutes out of the 25-minute episodes and we shut it off. So maybe it gets better. I don't know. But it just doesn't feel like that comedy, all that translates to anime. But in the case of Terminator, I feel like it does. And I feel like somebody else could do a great job. Like I just mentioned, I just thought of that. Rambo and RoboCop would be probably the next two that I would like to check out. It's a good show by any means. I say that Terminator fans should check it out. The gore and the action scenes will definitely keep you entertained. And if you're on the fence about Terminator, I would say give it a chance. It's not a bad time by any means. Those were my thoughts on Terminator 0. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments about the anime, about the whole franchise, your favorite Terminator movie, anything at all. Let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to always and forever, you do you. Are you a Terminator?